Well, it's been 10 months since I launched the salty chocolate chunk cookie recipe. And believe it or not, to the day, it's been a whole year since I closed the doors of Dolled Up Desserts. But today also marks a really important new beginning. Today is the day we finally launch the recipe capsule. Before we get into that, let me reintroduce myself because it has been a while. Hello, everybody. I'm Katerina. I'm the chief dessert designer and founder of Dolled Up Desserts. How are you guys? It's been a while. I realize Instagram has gotten a bit dusty. The website has been a bit one-paged. Sorry about that. That all changes today. You should go check it out, dolledupdesserts.com. I've been working really hard on building a brand new website. And this launch video is going to be explaining how this recipe capsule that I keep talking about is going to come together. And it's going to be part reading, because I have written a whole reflection about the launch of this thing finally. And that's going to be posted on the website for you to read, for you to watch, but it's also going to be part ad lib because, I don't want to be reading the whole time. And I do write a lot. So when I closed Dolled Up Desserts, I knew that my creative works, aka my recipes, needed to live on with the community. I spent so much time innovating those recipes that were, actually delicious. And it would be a complete shame for them to go down with me. However, just sharing the recipes through a blog or a newsletter or, some TikTok videos, it's just not fully authentic to who I am or who I really want to be. Truly, what makes these recipes so special and so unique is not just the recipe itself, but the story of what was going on around the time when that recipe was being innovated. Each baked good came about to solve some sort of business issue or challenge, and each one was a creative pursuit that has a collection of both very warm and pleasant as well as very scary and real feelings associated with them. They're more than just, the steps to make the treats. Each recipe has a story, and I want to share those stories that made the recipe and also made me. Thus, the recipe capsule is born. I will be sharing a chapter of the story of Dolled Up Desserts. It could be a video, it could be reflection, it'll definitely have a recipe, it might be just written, it might be a blog post. I'm hoping to put as much content behind it as possible, but again, I don't want to put myself into a situation where I'm over committing and not performing at all. So it could have been developed at that time, meaning that it's an OG recipe, or it could be the revised version of an OG recipe that was developed later, but the idea of it was super important to that time. Confusing, sorry, but you'll understand what I mean when we get into this. So I'm creating this recipe capsule launch video in order to share my intentions publicly. This last year has been an incredibly healing, intense, and beautiful year for me, and it's so exciting because it's just beginning. Really closed the last 10 years in this last year. It's been awesome. And I'm sure I'm going to share all of that through this eventually. But as part of this journey, I have been exploring the value of setting daily positive intentions as part of manifesting the reality that I'm creating. And in these last 10 months, the recipe capsule, unfortunately, has always winded up at the bottom of my to-do list. I could say that I was busy with other projects, but in truth, I was choosing to not work on it. I wasn't prioritizing it. I wasn't feeling excited or motivated yet to share everything and speak my truth, speak what's going on behind the scenes, and actually take the time to reflect on the last 7-8 years of building this thing. And the other part of it that's kind of demotivating as well too is just the quality of what I wanted to deliver is just really challenging to do single-handedly. Producing content in this day and age is a full-time job for a crew, not just for one person. And I want this to be interesting and entertaining and inspiring, but also authentic to who I am. I have a hard time creating any content that really doesn't come from the soul. That includes baking and recipes. When it comes to the editing and processing part of videos, that's where I get really caught up. Just like in the bakery, the actual baking part, which in this metaphor could be the writing and the filming part. I find that enjoyable. It's no problem, but that's only half the battle. The other half, which truthfully isn't my favorite, but I'm learning to love it and embrace it, is the packaging, the editing, the coloring, the rendering, the captioning, the uploading, blah, blah, blah. I'll get there. I'm sure it'll be good. However, we made it here today, launch day. My main intention has and will continue to be throughout this to empower those with dietary differences in my community, both near and far, to share and enjoy an inclusive dessert. That's the mission. It's always been the mission, to serve others. And I intend for this to reach exponentially more people than any of my previous content, because there's no paywall this time. There's no baking mix involved. I am going to share everything, literally everything, that went into making these recipes. And I intend to build out this community again and give you all that I've learned in this recipe capsule, both from the pastry development side as well as from the entrepreneurial, what the heck am I doing side? Because the lessons are not just incredibly human, but they hopefully will provide others who are on this journey of trying to run a food business or any business, a bit of solace, maybe something to laugh at in a dark time, and just remind you that you're really not alone. I feel motivated and I feel excited about the opportunities that are going to come forth and be birthed from this recipe capsule launch. I'm sharing my story and I'm sharing my recipes for free and online with the goal of attracting a book deal. I'm a firm believer that open source storytelling is really important, but there is something so special in creating that physical book. I am a traditionalist and a modernist all at the same time. So having a physical book is like keeping the knowledge somewhere close to your heart. I already know what the books, and yes, books with an S, are going to be about, and they're going to be so special when they come earthside. I just can't wait to share them all with you. But for now, we're starting off with this. We're creating content. We're building community. It's going to be beautiful. I'm also attracting help with the video creation so I can focus on creating and developing more content and spending time on the recipes and the storytelling and less on the editing part of it. I really also want this to grow into some sort of television or YouTube series that extends just beyond the baked goods and the inclusive baking, but showcases other parts of my life and who I am and all the things that I'd love to be able to share with my community, because there's so much that I want to share with you guys. So many things I've explored and learned and had the privilege of experiencing that everybody should know about and should also get the chance of experiencing. So that's what I'm manifesting in this recipe capsule. Let it be known. It's been put out to the universe a bunch and it's coming. I am super excited to share this journey with all of you, and I hope it sweetens your life just a little bit more. Slide into my DMs, let's chat, let's learn, let's bake, let's collaborate, let's challenge our biases, let's continue to grow, because that's what life's all about. The first chapter of the recipe capsule will premiere next week, probably same day, same time. If you have not subscribed to my newsletter yet, I would highly suggest it, so you get direct from the source updates whenever we publish new content and goodies. Until then, enjoy my new website. I worked really hard on it. I built it myself and I'm super proud of it, because website building was something I didn't know how to do until I started the business, and I actually had to teach myself how to do that. And now, post Indulgent Desserts, I've actually built multiple websites, and it's a skill that continues to serve and produce opportunities for me. So I'm really glad to share this with you. But please, if you have any feedback or suggestions, or you see any glitches, please let me know so I can try and fix them. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey and continuing to provide a source of light and excitement in my life. I love you all, and I will forever be in your service. Thank you.
Katrina, the queen of the begging bakery. Nothing will stop you, not even the heat of the day. You saw the opportunity and you had to take it. You closed up the shop and made a plan to bake it. Catch her in the baker, she got bigger and better. She traded in her baking tricks for something more potent. Now she's the master of merging, the queen of cannabis. Karen, she's the one you can't depend on.